The Tongans and the Fijians, we kind of kept our skin tone all the way till now.
Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
Right. Welcome back. You're watching Bros and Cons. This is another episode. Now, we had to quickly rush onto Plan B because one of our guests couldn't really make it today. But with Bros and Cons, you know, we learn to deal with every situation and every aspect of life, you know.
We can work well under pressure. Yeah, there always has to be a plan B. You never know when something's going to happen. Unfortunately, the doco couldn't make it on. This one was going to be via Zoom call, but so there are other technical difficulties that always come underway. But we bring something in our pocket, in our sleeve. A lot of you guys always have interesting questions that you guys want us to answer.
Yeah, lucky.
Videos. So we'll cover some of them. This is just going to be another one of those random yarns. So let's go.
And before we go into it, we got some announcements. So we've just dropped our first hoodie, and there will only be 20 people available, or 20 spots. So 20 hoodies, and once you get in, quickly get in fast because there's only going to be a limit to 20 spots, and those 20 people are going to get their first hoodies.
I don't even have one. I'm not going to be getting one. So
I don't even have one
showing
either.
you guys how special these jumpers are. Mate, if you guys get one, bargain. Maybe I'll be able to buy it off you.
20 hoodies, Bros and Cons, our first hoodies. Also, we got some new music coming along the way. I know a lot of you's been asking about music, this and that. Mm-hmm. We've already pretty much covered yous, like basically all the information you needed to know about us doing music. Yeah. And if you don't know what's going on, we've already told you to subscribe, man. So you can stay tuned into what we're doing, what we're saying. Jayleks, TikTok, you know, like all our social medias, man, guys, it's out there. Just stay tuned in. Otherwise, you're going to be a lost sheep in the wilderness and you will not know. And you're going to keep replying, like saying dumb comments, and you're going to get this guy to reply to you.
You don't want me to blast you on my TikTok, brother. So just keep posted on the socials so you know what's happening. Anyways, let's get into the questions. The first question we got: what's Fiji's impact in the Pacific?
Ooh.
Yes, sir.
Definitely. Fiji, they've got something similar to Tongans, I reckon.
Yeah. I think we have more of a similarity Tongans and Fijians rather than Fijians and Samoans. Is it the looks?
I'm not. Yeah, actually, looks could play a big part because if you do look at the skin color tone with the Tongans and the Fijians, we've kind of kept our skin color tones generations coming down, because you look at the Samoans, the Cook Islanders, the Niueans, you know how their skins just
like more
are getting lighter, you know?
Yeah.
They're getting more fair skin, but if you look to the Tongans and the Fijians, we kind of kept our skin tone all the way till now.
Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. For some reason,
I'm trying to make it sound good.
No, it's not good. For some reason, we're getting smarter, but I don't know, the skin tone is not evolving.
And I think one of the biggest reasons could be because like we're marrying into our own people still.
Oh, yeah, we're.
Does that relate back to the cousins?
He's marrying your cousins. Fire. Yeah.
As long as you're going to a different village, then you should be.
To broaden up on that question, Fiji's impact in the Pacific. Now, I know a little bit about this, lad. I do. So let me tell you guys what I know. So the Fijians' impact in the Pacific, even in the early ages, these guys were known as the hitmen. Yes, the hitmen of the Pacific. They were known for their skillful use of the war clubs. So from the books I've read and all the research I've read as well, even during the Tongan Empire dynasty, the Fijians were always getting hired as bodyguards because of their knowledge in jungle warfare, and they were not to be messed with. So
they were warriors.
Even in the book I read, the Fijians were the ones that were they were doing all the private escorts of the kings and the royals because they were his frontline soldiers, and they were good at using the war clubs, their spears, everything.
Yeah, man.
You will notice in a lot of their traditional dances that they're always holding the fan and or the club or these things, and that's just shows you that that's always been their culture. And they got I reckon they've got the most beautiful people in, like, their personality wise.
Yeah.
Awesome people, bro.
Very loving people,
Top
man.
of the range. I've been to Fiji myself, and whoever's been to Fiji, when you get off the airport, I don't know if they still do this now, but you're greeted by a warm welcome of locals there. They're playing the ukulele, they're singing and stuff. It just feels mad.
Oh.
It's hectic, bro. Mad vocals, bro. Yeah, they sing and they welcome you. It distracts you from the muggy weather, because the weather there is warm.
Bro. Any of the islands, if you go anywhere out there, it's always warm.
Yeah.
Warm, sticky, flies, all that.
Sticky. And you know what? The Fijians also they have very, very mad songs. Do you remember in Granville Boys? We done a dance to that. There's that famous song. Rg's gonna show you what it sounds like.
That song was a track, man.
Yeah. Tracker.
What a track.
Tracker. That's hectic.
There's actually a lot of good Fijian songs, man. Back then when we used to drink up on the weekends and that, it's always the Fijian songs, man. That'll get you hyped up, dancing and all, man.
Yeah. Shout out to all the Fijian boys in the area
Shout out,
too.
man. Very
all
kind
the
people, man.
Yeah, they're
Very
the best,
loving,
bro.
kind people, man.
Funniest people too, bro. They crack up. Next question. Is Moana Samoan? Bro, I think the last podcast really... you guys are holding us
Tapping
accountable for the whole Pacific now. Is Moana Samoan?
I'm not sure.
I'm going to let you answer this one.
I thought Moana was just an islander girl. Like I wouldn't know what type of nationality, because I don't think that's probably what they wanted to. I don't think they wanted to put a specific country.
Yeah,
like one specific country on Moana.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I think the whole movie was just displayed throughout all the countries, in the Pacific, not just one country. So
I think it's important to note, but because in the second movie, I don't know, have you watched Moana 2?
No, I haven't.
So Moana's dad has the infamous Samoan tattoo, the better. Hope I'm saying it right.
Is that the leg tattoo?
Yeah, the one from the
from your love handles and your hips.
Yeah, and it goes down, and it even goes into the thing, the crevices, everything. It goes everywhere. Lad, this is probably one of the most commendable things I've seen, like, in the Pacific, bro, because you've got a tattoo before.
Yeah.
It's not for the faint-hearted, lad.
No.
It's not for the faint-hearted, and especially you're going into some very, very, very sensitive spots.
Oh, so, bro. This has to be, like, probably one of the most sensitive spots, your Adam's apple, man. I was trying to, when I went and did the session at Livo, when he was doing it, like, all the other spots around here was all right, but the Adam's apple, the vibration, ooh.
Yeah.
Bro, and he was trying to talk to me, and I couldn't really talk to him, but it's painful, man. So I can only imagine, the sensitive spots around down there, man. Fuck.
So but for me, when I usually get a tattoo, do you guys ever have this thing where like you're getting a tattoo and then you're trying to put on like a poker face, eh?
Yeah.
So when obviously as a man, everyone, we're all
it's in our nature,
that.
Man.
Shout out to Con Artist from Liverpool.
Shout out Con Artist.
He's the one that does most of my work. So as he tattoos me, and he does this every session, I sit there with a poker face like this, and he's like, "Oh, good doggo." I'm like, "Yeah, it's fine." But my toes are like this. My toes are curled up like this. It's so bad, bro. My butt cheeks are clenched in. Bro, you really gotta, you
gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Do what you gotta do. Yeah, it's mad. But
and back to the better, like, is that there's always a back and forth between Tongans and Samoans, always saying where did the better originated from?
Okay, so for those that don't know, the better. It actually started in Tonga. No, I'm joking. I'm kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking.
I'm gonna have to start off the intro just to see what everyone said.
So obviously the Pt2 is from Samoa, and I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure majority of our what I heard from my older cousins.
I heard it was something to do with slavery.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I
like,
think the
I heard-
hierarchy, because obviously the chiefs, in the royal blood, they get the Pt2. Someone comment down below and drop some knowledge on this beautiful Samoan tradition, so we can make it clear for everyone.
All right.
Another
good,
mad
man.
artifact as well that I just heard from my cousin as well, my older cousin, that even dances, a lot of traditional dances that are in the Tongan community now, it was passed through Samoans. So the sivas was always something from the Samoans. And then for us Tongans, the only thing that we used to do was the laka and the kailao. So that's the in English that translates to the war dance that we usually have with spears. That's all we used to do apparently back in the days. I'll leave this up to debate because I'm not really educated on everything that happened in the past.
Yeah, man. It's cool, man, learning about the history and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyways, on
Next
to the
question.
next.
Islander witchcraft mythologies.
Ooh. Yeah, man. Back then when we were young, we were going to school back in Tonga. We used to hear about a lot of just like witchcraft and a lot of evil stuff that was going on around the villages.
Yo.
And this is a pretty cool topic, man. A lot of Tongans know about this, even like just me myself being Tongan and being around Tongans in Sydney, we used to discuss about this, is there any like evil stories and witchcraft things that are actually happening in Tonga, and how do we go about it? How do we approach this? But I think it was just a thing that we all used to talk about. We never, there was no one that really lived through that time to tell the tale. But
you know what? There was like a lot of what do you call it? Like bad omens, like not necessarily like something that like you would go by as a law every day, but it's just something small that sits in the back of your mind, like a black oath.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how here in the Western culture they say something about black cats crossing the road. If a black cat crosses the road while you're driving, then something, I don't know.
Then I think you just run it over.
There's something. I don't know. Someone.
Oh no! If a black cat crosses the road, that means
Someone's gonna die?
Someone's gonna die. That you know or
I thought
you
that
love.
was the black crow.
No, I think the black crow is someone already died.
I think someone just doesn't like black animals. It's something. The black cats.
Or just black Tongans in general.
But there is this one of the dark omens I heard from the islands.
Yeah.
And I think this could be Tongan or Samoan tradition or both. I don't know. But girls weren't allowed to have their hair down.
Yeah.
So before they sleep, girls can't have their hair down. It has to be tied up. Why? Because there's this witch that goes around, and apparently she gets jealous, or she doesn't like it when girls have their hair down because I don't know. So they have to tie it up, and apparently she goes around in the middle of the night, and yeah.
Oh damn! Yeah.
So that's one of them.
Another story is I remember walking, like there's this long road to Tofoa, and like while you're walking through this road, there's no traffic lights, there's nothing like that. It's very, very eerie if you walk through the night, especially if it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock. There's no street lights. It's very dark, and there's a lot of trees, kind of like a very Amazon like trees, and the trees are rattling apparently, and if you're walking there by yourself, which you shouldn't be, and the trees are shaking, and it's very windy, it's very quiet, and you hear something snap like a branch, you have to start running, because apparently like there's a lady in the tree, and she doesn't if you're walking there by yourself, you're an easy target. So
yeah. And when you're young, growing up to these stories, they're pretty freaky, eh?
Yeah.
As it's
freaky,
different,
man.
it's different levels in the islands. I remember there's this one other Tongan mythology. There was this girl that she was getting bullied at school because her hair was frizzy, and she didn't know how to brush it, and she used to get bullied and tormented by all of her classmates. So one day she left school early. She went home, and the teachers, they couldn't find her. they called the parents, and the parents couldn't find her. So what the teacher went to the house to go and look for her, and the door was open. And guess what she saw? She opened the door, and she saw her sitting down with her head on her lap, brushing her hair.
Wow.
How about that, lad?
That one deserves to be around the campfire. Nice one.
Yeah, lad.
There's also one thing that I'm not sure if it was part of the Ohm mythology back then, but if you were to do this sound, like in Tonga back then, like that was like if you were to do that, like apparently that was evil. That was witchcraft language, and you weren't allowed to do that in Tonga. So the villagers would stone you or bash you. You know, you weren't allowed to speak in that language. But I don't know what language that is. Hopefully,
not
doing
no one.
But yeah.
Anyways, next question. Do you eat pig? That's a weird question.
Of course, I eat pig.
So even as a Christian, I don't eat pig. I just don't like the taste. Yeah. I used to eat pig when we were young. When you come from the islands, it's a very staple meat. In all the farms, there's pigs. We actually grew up seeing my dad and my uncles and my cousins slaughter and cook the pigs right in front of us. So we used to farm them. We used to grow them, and like we used to like them as pets. Remember Keke?
Yeah, Keke. That's
Remember Keke?
I'm pretty sure my dad ended up killing Keke not long after.
Keke got slaughtered. She got. So one day we were at school and we came back and Keke wasn't there anymore. We were young and we came with food like Keke. Keke was gone. She was on the able tape.
Keke had a lot of children, but
she had a lot of children.
Every single one of them was getting got every week.
Bro, but yeah, Keke was ruthless, bro. Her kids were getting got by her as well. She ate some of her kids. Man, pigs are crazy.
Yeah, pigs are crazy, man. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Muslims and the Christians probably don't.
It's a good pointer, lad. It's a good pointer. Next one. What's the real reason you stopped rapping? Okay. So I think you know what? I kind of haven't covered this properly. So a lot of the speculation on why we stopped rapping was because we wanted to change. If you look at the history of how we were, the length between every drop that we were dropping music, you will notice within the last couple years it started getting patchy. So we'll drop a song, and then after 6 months we'll drop something, and then after a year then we'll drop something. And this is the reason why. Like I said, a lot of people said it's because we wanted to change, but it's actually the opposite. For those that are in the street game, you get to a certain extent where rapping and being in the spotlight, it's not on the same page, and it doesn't connect with like if you're doing stuff, and this is only if you really, really get deep into it. You get you don't want to be in the spotlight, especially if you're doing a lot of stuff that are you know what I mean. You don't necessarily want to stand in the spotlight, and you'll notice this as well with a lot of big timers are not the rappers, it's the people behind them. There's people behind them doing a lot of stuff, and this doesn't necessarily tie into rapping as well. So over the last course of years, I had my worst years, but I'm looking to come back now and have a good comeback for everyone around me, and same as me and my brothers. So
100%. I think what these people don't understand is that the music is saying one message, but then there was a lot of stuff that was happening behind closed curtains, man, that some of these guys will never know, and hopefully we'll be able to clear up with every single podcast that does drop.
It'll be like this. It will be exactly like this. If you're rapping about shooting, but you haven't shot anyone, you'll be comfortable to rap. Yeah. But
you be the yaw.
And vice versa. If you have been involved in things that are tied into even anything close to doing anything that's related to anything,
you wouldn't want to rap.
Oh, brother, you'll be far away from the microphone.
You'll be behind the closed curtains.
Yeah, you'll be far away from the microphone, the spotlight. You don't want to be known. And
you'll be holding the microphone.
This is actually crazy because even in our society, it works the exact same way. True authority never wants to be revealed. So right now you see President Trump, we have governments, we have politicians. They are just the front show of the authority. The true authority, they don't want you to know them. They're behind. They couldn't care.
Oh mate, there's
true
a lot
authority
of...
doesn't care about like having the fame and that. No, they have rappers, politicians, and that. You guys do that. We don't want to be known. We just want to make. We just want to make, and we just want to do. We don't want anyone to know who we are.
And that's why it's important for you guys as the watchers, as the consumers, to actually know what you're watching and know what you're taking in on the media, because everything could be just one thing or another.
Yeah.
You don't know what's actually going on. And that's why it's important to actually be or become a critical thinker.
Yeah.
You know, become
Question
a critical
everything,
thinker.
though.
Question everything.
Question
and,
everything.
You know, don't just jump into conclusion after you see one video or after you see President Trump talking for 5 seconds, after you see Andrew Tate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just become that critical thinker, you know, and be the weird person that asks 21 questions. Anyways.
Okay, that was nice. That was a deep one. What charges as a juvie? So as a juvenile, all up, I had 13 charges, and there were a string of they started off as a couple of the more serious ones started off as armed robberies, but we got them. I had a very, very good barrister, got them dropped down to robbery in company. And then, so one of the more serious charges as well was assault on a police officer and things like that. And
FTP, man.
I'll be honest with you. They when you that charge in itself, I learned at a young age. You don't even need to physically hit or touch or you can abuse. Assault can come verbally, and you know what I mean. And for us islanders, we're very you notice when you go to the nightclub, every time a Seki sees an islander, he's like, oh man, bro, you know what I mean? Because we have that history that islanders and alcohol, we don't mix well together.
Yeah,
we don't mix well together.
Definitely, man.
It's a very and no one make it, bro. This is this is moisturizer. This is Nivea. This is Nivea, all right?
This is not the Royal Red.
So I don't want to see any memes about me moisturizing my lips. You know what? If you want to be a gangster and have moldy lips, go. I don't care. Oh, yeah.
Next question. Let me read some of these questions, boy. The difference between juvie and jail. Is that the one you just answered?
Yeah. The difference in juvie and jail. I think you can elaborate more on the the jail, and then I'll give a bit about juvie.
Okay, so with jail, obviously the main difference is the age. So obviously, if you're 18 years and under, actually I think it's 17, because if you're 18 and over, you go to big boys.
Yeah,
18 is the turning point where you go to big boys, man. But yeah, I think the differences would just be, I don't know. Is it the services that they provide? Maybe the services are different.
So one thing I noticed in contrast, I haven't really spent a lot of time in big boys. So I can't really. Someone will have to chime in, or you
I'll probably chime in.
The majority of my years in juvie, I noticed that when you're in juvie, so because there's people are still very young, they're still got very high testosterone and they're really hyper, and these kids want to make a name for themselves. So you notice a much more crazy energy from when you're in juvie, because you know what I mean? Everyone is just, they haven't matured in the mind yet. Whereas when you go to jail, everyone is kind of if you're not gang banging, or you're keeping your head down, it's a very civil place to be, as long as you're following the the guidelines, and you're not a child molester or something like that. So but yeah, what would you say? Would you say that the correctionals?
I can say maybe there's more programs, I reckon.
No,
so there's hardly any programs in the big boys, unless you've been to minimum. I think there's more programs, but I've never been to minimum the whole time I was in, so I will never know.
That's true.
But in maximum, bro, the max, bro, you don't get anything, bro. You're
probably
probably
more courses.
They got courses, but it's like I think certain jails have 1 or 2 courses if you're lucky, bro.
How about the remands? Like
The remand,
yeah,
the
probably
remands,
not a.
I think no. Back then, when I was in, when I first went to Silverwater, there was a program, but it was so hard to get in. Apparently, there was a long queue. So, your best bet was just know that you're gonna get tipped on the next day, bro.
It's not a holiday.
Yeah,
camp
it's not.
You can't go in and say, "Oh, can I be in a course?"
Yeah.
Oh, what do you think this is, our boy? Yeah, this
Is
is jail boy.
Yeah, no. Don't think that you're gonna try and look for a course, bro. If you're going in jail, just keep your head down. That's the main thing.
Yeah, and a good tip for those people that if you're visiting your family in jail, they have vending machines, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the jails that have vending machines, it's max $20 in coins to take in to buy chips and drinks.
Yeah.
Don't be one of those families that you go and you buy chips and drinks and you start eating it. You start eating it in the visits, and the prisoner is just sitting there taking one chip by one chip. I think that was me.
4 can came out and all the packets were open already. Fuck me dead.
But when I went to go visit this guy, he doesn't even eat like the chili chips. But I bought 2 chili chips. Oh, how you been, dog?
Nah, fuck yeah, that was a mad time.
Wow.
But yeah, I think yeah, programs and courses would be one thing. Age, definitely. There's a massive age gap.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the showers there, but the shower blocks probably another thing that scarred me, because in big boys, it's there, man. The junk's all out there.
Yeah.
You know, you can see everything. You can see what's going on. So yeah.
Don't you just look away, or you can see it?
No, like no, you can't. That's the thing. You can't look away because
you gotta
you
keep
have
your
to
eyes
know
open.
what's going
You
on,
have to
bro.
know what's
You have
going
to.
on, lad.
As much as
You
you want to
gotta-
close your eyes and look the other way, bro, you have to.
You gotta be alert. Be ready to palm off. Hey, stay away, stay away, stay away.
Especially, man, if you're dropping the soap 5 to 10 times in the shower. I'm not sure if you even drop it 5 times. That's on purpose, bro.
Okay. All right.
Next one.
The next one. Oh, I like this one. The top 3 wrestlers of WWE. EA Sports. It's in the game. All right, let's do it. So, for me, I'm definitely going to go out on a limb.
Don't tell me it's The Rock.
No, it's this guy.
All right. Oh,
Who's that? Who's
that's
that, lad?
The Undertaker. Hey, man, I don't know what's going through his head every time he had to come out and do that. You know, he's probably just thinking about the money he's making every week doing it.
Bro, I can imagine him in the back room. He's like eating a burger or something. He's like, oh, do I got to go up? Okay.
It's only, that's what he's probably thinking about, you know? Fuck, he's just probably thinking about the 30K he's earning in 1 week. Or 50K this week at WrestleMania?
Holy.
Oh.
But you know what? I actually liked him when he was a bikie. Remember that?
Yeah, when he was
Undertaker
bad
bikie,
boy.
he was a mad character in the WWE. You know the SmackDown versus Raw, was it 2007 or 9?
2000 and...
Because one of them was goated, lad. One of them was goated as.
Pretty sure it was 2009.
Yeah, so...
It was coming up closer.
So my top 3, it'd be Undertaker, and it's going to have to be The Rock and Stone Cold. 3 of them, lad.
Damn.
3 of them. You know the rules. You can't use mine.
I can't use
You know
mine.
The Rock, lad. The Rock. I feel like The Rock had the most. What do you call it? Like he had that. He just had this. And this is not like this might be biased because I'm an Islander, but when we were young, when you're young growing up as an Islander, I think The Rock played a significant part for us when we were young growing up. So. Picture this: you're in the lounge room, you're playing in the backyard, and then your little brother runs out to the backyard and says, "Guys, the Rock is on, the Rock is on."
Yeah.
Bro, it was such a big impact. Everyone would run into the lounge room. My older brother, even my sisters, bro, we all loved The Rock. He was a big part of our childhood, and like he would do these things where even as popular as he was, he'd go missing for a long period of time, and then all of a sudden in Royal Rumble, if you smell, and then it would be, oh, The Rock is on, The Rock is on.
Yeah.
He had that kind of impact, man. He's the man, bro. He's the man. He's the man. Shout out to The Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
Shout out, man.
Jump on our podcast, lad. Jump on our podcast.
Let's have a little cheeky one now.
What about yours?
Mine, because I can't copy, man. This is hard because we come from the same upbringing. We watch the same TV and watch everything. But in saying that, there was a few other guys that I did have in mind. Easily top rated 3 would have to be first Goldberg, second John Cena, third would have to be Booker T.
Oh, Booker T.
Someone black in there, someone
you
black.
Dig it?
Sucker,
bro.
Yeah, that guy. He was unique, man. There was no one like Booker T. Goldberg, that guy was just he had vicious energy. Lad. Yeah,
meathead, bro. Batista was pretty mad.
Yeah, for me, like it was the comparing between Batista and Goldberg, but I don't know. It was just something electrifying about Goldberg every time he came out.
I think so. We should do some honourable mentions as well.
Yeah.
So I think Shawn Michaels was a very good.
Shawn Michaels.
I loved Shawn Michaels back in his day.
The Heartbreak Kid.
He was mad.
Eddie Guerrero
was hectic.
Nice one.
Triple H, also a mad wrestler.
Yeah.
Who's another one? Kane. Kane was very good as well. Kane was good as well.
Even though he didn't really speak much, man, he spoke a lot of volumes with just his character, man, just being a scary cunt.
Yeah. So all right, that's WWE.
Right, WWE, man.
Who still watches that? Is it still as good as it used to be, or not?
I heard it wasn't.
I don't think any of yous, like any of the younger generation, you guys won't understand the attitude era that we grew up in. Bro, wrestling will never be like that, ever. I don't think wrestling will ever be like the attitude
the best
era.
generation.
Like
WWE, Nickelodeon, Disney, like, man, it was just all in just one. Fuck, we had the best experiences, man. I hope you guys get to.
And they don't make the same, like...
Yeah, they don't make
the kids growing up these days, what are they watching? Frozen or something?
They're watching TikTok.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
So, the top 3 singers.
Top 3 singers.
Let's go.
All right. Number 1. First. You already know I'm going to call him out. His name is MJ, Michael Jackson.
See? Told ya.
I don't care if your favorite is CB or Chris Brown. There will be no one will ever amount to Michael Jackson, hands down. I don't care how many generations. I don't even care if I die. Those generations after will never understand. MJ, man. You have to know him. You have to know his history. You have to know who he is. There's a reason why they called him the king of pop in the first place.
Yeah.
MJ, hands down. So he's my number 1. Number 2, this is where we get a little bit off the rails. So number 2 will have to be...
He's just gonna...
No, just like, Not,
because
not
MJ
off the rails.
I get what you mean. Because MJ,
he's high.
He doesn't even deserve to be in this list. He deserves to be in another room looking at this list. Like, well, look at these guys. Look at these guys. That's MJ, lad.
Has to just be in his own.
He's in his own class as it is, lad.
Number 2 for me would have to be Usher.
Oh,
because Usher had a big impact in my upbringing. With
more than Chris Brown.
Yeah, for me, more than Chris Brown.
Yeah.
But
you know what? It is debatable.
I'd say in singing, not in
singing
as a whole. Yeah, because you just said top 3 singers.
Yeah.
Not So in the singing aspect, I'll have to put down Usher as my top 2, because Usher, this guy was taking the crown. With the R&B back then.
Yeah. Honorable mention. Go sing one of the songs. One other way.
This is my confession. All right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, number 3. Last but not least for me, it would have to be T-Pain.
T-Pain,
yeah, because this guy was taking a chokehold in the early 2000s.
He was.
When you heard a T-Pain song, you already know that it was time to get the vodka out.
Yeah.
Start shaking their
booty. He was. He had like, bro, his early songs, lad.
Yeah.
I'm sprung. Bro, those ones, lad.
Those ones, man.
Fuck.
You already knew.
Hard to beat.
If you had a crush in high school, you were listening to T-Pain songs,
yeah,
bro. No doubt. Because you were sprung.
So who was your crush in high school? I'm pretty sure that's one of the questions.
Anyways, whose is your top three?
Top three. Well, I'm obviously gonna have to put C Breezy.
Eshay.
Bro,
there you go. You get your title, bro. You get your title.
See, don't worry about him, C Breezy. Come to me. Come podcast with me, lad. Come podcast with me. Don't worry about this guy. So it's Chris Brown, and I'm gonna make this argument now that I think that ever since Michael Jackson, Chris Brown is the next biggest thing.
Yes.
In terms of now, not just singing, I'm talking about him as a whole brand. So the way he, like his persona, his character, his looks, his character,
definitely,
his dancing, his aura. I don't think we'll see another Chris Brown. And the unfortunate thing is, we don't know how to appreciate someone until they pass away.
Yeah.
Only then is when people finally give them their flowers. So I'm gonna give you your flowers right now, Chris Brown, lad. But if you don't jump on the podcast, I'll have to take it away in the next segment. So number two. You know what? I'll go off. I'll go off singers that made a big impact when I was growing up. It will have to be Akon.
Ayo.
Sorry, yes, sorry.
Ayo.
Ayo.
You fucking idiot. We're not even singing the right lyrics, but that was the tune. You already know.
That was the tune, lad.
You know you were singing with us too, bro. Don't lie.
Bro, I think, bro, you know, if I was doing time and Akon's songs were just on a replay, I wouldn't mind it, lad. I'd have some comfortable days in there.
He's got those songs where you just can't get sick of it.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if you have to play it over 30 times in the same room.
Yeah.
You know, you just gotta sing along. He's got a sing along song.
Yeah, lad.
He has.
Remember, even the Locked Up.
Locked Up.
What a song, lad. What a song.
What a gem.
So here we got Chris Brown, we got Akon.
What is your last but not least?
Oh, man.
This is hard. This is hard because we appreciate a lot of these singers.
Yeah.
You know? We grew up listening to a variety of them.
Who's singing now? No one's really singing now. It's only
or maybe
like The Weeknd, Bruno Mars. Who else is singing? There's not much people singing, hey?
Maybe it's a female for you. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
Whitney Houston.
Oh my days, lad. Oh my days. You know what? It doesn't matter how tough you are. If you remember One World, do you Islanders remember One World in Parramatta back in the days? Doesn't matter how gangster you are. You know when that song comes on, go sing that song. When that song starts coming, you start doing this. You start doing this in the corner. It's true. It's true, lad. Whitney Houston's hectic.
Toko, I know that was you, Toko.
I know that was you, Toko. Don't lie, Toko. Don't lie. That was you, lad. That was you. Oh, yeah. Even in the drink comes out, I'm pretty sure people were still...
Bro.
Houston's a banger.
Whitney Houston, bro, it's a must.
If you drive past a scaffolding site and you can hear on the little UE boom speaker they're playing Whitney Houston, don't stress. They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Man, did we have any other questions?
Let me check. All right. So,
see if we got any other questions. We are actually running out of time.
How to start a business when you have kids?
Let's go, Jay.
So,
give him the hot tips.
Okay, so this person, how to start a business when you have kids. So I'm assuming you have kids. Yeah. Let me tell you something that I didn't mention earlier. I mentioned earlier in an earlier podcast that I started my first business when I was 18, but I didn't tell you guys the reason. The reason why I started is because my missus at the time was pregnant with our first baby. Now, when you're young, a lot of my peers, it was quite a popular thing to, like, if you have a baby when you're young, it just wasn't suit that, like, you'd hang around, you know, because we're still young, we'd go around. But I was raised on morals that you know, you have to deal with everything as a man. Whatever you cause, you have to deal with it up front and face on. And I think okay, so I think a big thing that's So a big thing that's popular today, or even back in the days, is people would be saying, you know, don't get married or don't have a kid until you're ready, until you ready yourself. But the truth is, you're never ready. You're never ready. Yeah, you're forever evolving. Your goals are forever changing. So I think it's a fallacy, that statement, because for me, I'm a true testimony to that, because when I was young, I knew who I wanted to be with at 18 years old. And I was ready to become who I needed to be, to do what needed to be done. So I made promises, and to this day, even though there was a lot of hiccups along the way, I kept them. And if you are true as a man, if you are true to your word and you anchor your feet down, you will be able to find a way to do what you want to do if you set your mind to it. And
that's it, man. It doesn't really matter what you're going through.
Yeah, lad. Yeah.
So as long as your willpower is greater, then there shouldn't be a worry, man. It doesn't matter if you're having a kid or you're getting married.
Because this is the thing. I think it's popular in today's culture that you have a missus for a long time, and then a lot of things fall into that, because you guys end up sleeping together out of wedlock, which is, obviously as a Christian, it's frowned upon. So it ties into a lot of things. Like you just got to be able to, as a man, I think you'll be able to do anything with this. If you know what you want in life, lad, you'll be able to do it. Over to you, lad.
What are you aspiring to be in the future?
Yeah.
What are the things that you are going through? What's holding you back from reaching your full potential?
Yeah.
If you can analyze that properly and see what's holding you back, you'll be able to, just depict what's going on. And like, it's almost like you have to kind of just wake up to yourself one day, and one day you will do that, and it might take you 20 years. It's sad, some of these people, they grow old and they finally wake up. They grow up to 30, 40 years old, and and you see them, you talk to these guys about their business ventures, how did they come that's what I'm saying, like it's always good to ask, man. It's good to ask, especially if you're someone that's trying to become better.
And to add on to that, being a man of your word is the most important characteristic of being a man. You have to keep your word. Once you start fulfilling the promises that you've made to your missus and everyone around you, that's when you will truly become a man.
Exactly.
Don't worry about impressing the streets or your mates. Keep the promises you make to your family and the people around you. Don't worry what everyone else thinks. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people, we're so fixated on what everyone thinks about what we're doing, but we want to impress the streets before we impress our own household. So
that's it.
Do whatever you're doing, lad. Just make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. This is Pros and Cons.
This is Pros and Cons, man. Wrapping it up today. We'll have to see you on the next one. Thank you for tuning in. We love yous. We out.
So I promised you guys there's a former driller from Manny that's going to jump on the podcast. I actually made that video after they made this podcast. Bit of a time difference, but we'll get it together. Stay tuned for this guy jumping on the show. We'll do a reveal on Tuesday. That's the fucking whack.
She loved the way my brother holds down for the quarters. 10 years on the chin, baby. Ask me score.